Israel, Iran, and Qatar, tonight on AU Global. Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News. I'm Matt Stanley. The British government is pushing to start negotiations on the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the EU by the latest of March 31st. Opening the debate on the parliamentary bill that will give Prime Minister Theresa May the go-ahead with Brexit, David Davis, Secretary of State for exiting the EU, told parliamentarians they could not block the process. The decision to leave the trade bloc is a point of return already passed, he said. At the core of this bill lies a very simple question. Do we trust the people or not? Australian authorities are reviewing the deaths of 88 men between 1976 and 2000 to determine whether they should be classified as anti-homosexual hate crimes. In December of 1988, a teenage boy found a body at the bottom of a cliff that lines the Sydney Harbor. The man, torn and battered by the rocks, was confirmed to be American mathematician Scott Johnson. The police concluded that Mr. Johnson, aged 27, had committed suicide, and the coroner agreed. But 28 years later, a new inquest into Mr. Johnson's death has begun. His brother, a wealthy Boston tech entrepreneur, has pressed the Australian authorities for years to revisit the case, arguing that Mr. Johnson was murdered because he was gay and that the police failed to see it. Johnson may not be the only one connected to these hate crimes. During the 80s and 90s, authorities are now saying gangs of teens practice hunting homosexual individuals for sport, at times forcing them to jump to their deaths. Now the police in New South Wales, the state that includes Sydney, are reviewing the deaths of 88 men between 1976 and 2000 to determine whether they should be classified as anti-gay hate crimes. No new arrests have been made since the case reopened in 2013. We will keep you updated on this case. ISIS is celebrating after Trump's immigration ban. President Trump says this is not about religion. This is about terror and keeping our country safe. There are over 40 different countries worldwide that are majority Muslim that are not affected by this order. However, experts are saying it will make it easier for ISIS and Al-Qaeda to recruit alienated young believers. ISIS has a goal to divide the world into two camps, the Crusaders and the Caliphate. No Christians living in Muslim lands and no Muslims living in Christian countries. Its message to Western Muslims: you don't belong there. Come to the Caliphate where you can live as true Muslims. Iranian foreign minister has made it clear that missile tests should not be seen as a pretext to new tensions. Already furious over President Trump's visa ban, Iran warned the U.S. on Tuesday not to escalate tensions over tests of Iranian missiles, tests that his administration's new United Nations ambassador called absolutely unacceptable. The Iranian warning made in Tehran by Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif came a day after American and Israeli officers accused Iran of having conducted a missile test that they said had violated a United Nations Security Council resolution. Iran contends that it has not violated the resolution and that its missiles are not designed to carry nuclear warheads, which it already has promised not to make as part of the nuclear accord. The American and Israeli accusations have created an early test of the Trump administration's toughness on Iran. Qatar hopes the United States will do the right thing regarding the immigration ban. The nations of Syria, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, and the Yemen have been put on a 90-day travel ban. Qatar's foreign minister said, "When it comes to be addressed in a Muslim framework, I think this is something we will stand against." According to Al-Sharik, Al-Thani's Serbian counterpart did not express similar sentiment. Instead, reportedly said that Serbia does not want to interfere in the international affairs of other countries. Mexico's president cancels meeting with Trump over the wall. President Donald Trump's decision to build a wall along the southern border has caused a diplomatic standoff on Thursday. President Trump's spokesman said the president would pay for the border wall by imposing a 20% tax on imports to the U.S., which would raise billions. The tension began Thursday morning when the President Nieto of Mexico announced on Twitter he was canceling his meeting with Mr. Trump. Gennaro Lozano, a professor at the Ibero-American University in Mexico City, said, "It is an unprecedented moment for the bilateral relationship. In the 19th century, we fought a war with the U.S., and now we find ourselves in a low-intensity war, a commercial one over NAFTA, an immigration war due to the measures he just announced. One of the closest settlements to Jerusalem in the occupied West Bank, which Israel seized from Jordan 50 years ago. It's part of Jerusalem, said Sima Weiss, 58, who has lived here for 30 years. I don't feel like a settler. The world has focused more critically recently on Israel's settlements in occupied territory, after last month's United Nations declaration, which the United States tacitly supported, that they are killing the dream of one state for Jews. Ma'ale Adumim has become a point of conflict between Palestinians and Israelis. Right-wing politicians, emboldened by a more sympathetic Trump administration, want to annex it to Israel proper, the first formal annexation of a settlement. Many Palestinians agree this is a critical moment. They fear Ma'ale Adumim will be just the beginning of the annexation of settlements in the West Bank, now home to roughly 400,000 Jews, and the end of the two-state dream. Coming up, you'll hear from Kaylee Bishop with everything happening around the U.S.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis.
45, there goes Davis!
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
Good evening. I'm Kaylee Bishop, and this is U.S. News. Wrapping up the first month of the new year, Auburn students took time to give us their 2 cents on how 2017 was treating them so far.
Wrapping up the first month of 2017, we prompted a few Auburn Tigers to give us a phrase that they felt encapsulated the year so far.
I want to say inquisitive, curious, and forward-seeking.
I'll go with different, really different.
If I had to choose a phrase, I think it would be fantastic. It's going really well.
I would say it's been a very abundant year so far. Been very blessed this year.
Rough. School's hard, but I'm pushing through.
Diving into the rest of 2017, these students exhibited Auburn's value of hard work with multiple aspirations for the remainder of the year.
Probably go out more, meet more people, just be more open in general.
Go to the gym more.
Not fail out of school.
Very good.
Well, I accomplished a lot more than I ever thought in 2016. And for all the bad things that happened worldwide, my personal life went really well. So I think I just want to continue going in that area forward.
In Auburn, Kaylee Bishop with Eagle Eye TV.
With a positive outlook on the year thus far, Auburn students are sure to succeed in their aspirations, whether they be personal or on the plains. President Trump instituted an immigration order last Friday banning people from 7 Middle Eastern countries from entering the United States. People from Iraq, Syria, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen are banned from entering the country for the next 90 days. The U.S. refugee program has also been halted for the next 120 days. The order cuts the number of refugees allowed in the country in 2017 to 50,000, half the current cap on refugees. Trump's order also prioritizes refugees on the basis of religion, provided, quote, that the religion of the individual is a minority religion in the individual's country of nationality, end quote. The order has sparked outrage across the world as many families have been separated and people have been detained at U.S. airports. Protests have broke out at several airports and in front of the White House. White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus announced Sunday that green card holders from the banned countries would not be prevented from entering the U.S. going forward. Despite the outcries that the ban is aimed at Muslim-majority nations, Trump insisted in a statement made on Facebook that the ban was not aimed at any particular religious group. Auburn University released a statement Monday morning urging students, faculty, staff, and dependents impacted by this ban to cancel future travel plans as they may not be allowed to re-enter the country. The statement from University President Jay Gouge and Provost Timothy Bosinger also said in part, quote, Auburn is an international university, and we remain committed to fostering an environment that upholds our values of inclusion and diversity, end quote. The statement included a link to the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities statement, of which Auburn is a member. That quote read in part, quote, "The hardship is now clear, and as a matter of fairness and in accord with the values of this nation, the decision that bans these current visa and green card holders from returning for 90 days should be promptly reconsidered," end quote. Trump has met with his first foreign leaders, meeting with British Prime Minister Theresa May and speaking via telephone with Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto on Friday. The meeting with May included a joint press conference in which the two agreed to a bilateral trade agreement, and May said President Trump expressed great support for NATO. After canceling an in-person meeting with Trump, Nieto agreed to a phone conversation on Friday. The two presidents described the meeting as productive, and both offices issued similar statements. Nieto's office said, "The president also agreed for now not to speak publicly about the border wall." The White House's statement did not add the same comment. Nieto vowed in a televised speech that Mexico would never pay for the border wall promised in Trump's campaign. The White House is now considering a 20% tax on Mexican imports that could fund the wall. President Trump announced federal appeals court judge Neil Gorsuch as his Supreme Court nominee Tuesday evening. Gorsuch is 49 years old, making him the youngest nominee in 25 years to this lifetime position. A Republican, Gorsuch would add a conservative edge to the evenly split court. Gorsuch currently serves on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Colorado. He graduated from Columbia, Harvard, and Oxford, attending Harvard Law School at the same time as President Obama. If approved, Gorsuch will fill the seat vacated by Justice Antonin Scalia's death last year. President Trump fired sitting Attorney General Sally Yates on Monday after she refused to defend his executive order on the immigration and refugee ban. The White House said in a statement that Yates, quote, "betrayed the Department of Justice by refusing to enforce a legal order designed to protect the citizens of the United States," end quote. Yates was informed of her dismissal by a hand-delivered note. Dana Bente, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, was sworn in just minutes later as the acting Attorney General, while Trump awaits a final Senate vote on his pick, Jeff Sessions. Bente immediately reversed Yates' order, telling Department of Justice lawyers to, quote, "defend the lawful orders of our president," end quote. Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions was voted in by the Senate Judiciary Committee as the next Attorney General on Tuesday. The vote was split on party lines, with 11 Republican senators approving and 9 Democrats opposing. The Republican senator and former Attorney General of Alabama was early a supporter of Trump's campaign, pledging his support in February 2016. Sessions confirmed hearings were marked with controversy over his record of racist remarks. Sessions also became the first sitting senator to be opposed in the hearings by another senator, Cory Booker of New Jersey. Sessions will face another round of voting next week, with the full Senate before a final decision is made about the role. He is expected to be approved. The 120-year-old Dow Jones Industrial Average rose to a record 20,000 points last week following Donald Trump's inauguration. Wall Street investors celebrated the milestone after coming extremely close on January 6th when the Dow hit 19,999.63. The Dow has risen over 1,700 points since Trump's election. This evidence suggests that investors are confident in the outlook of the economy under Trump's direction. Trump promised in his campaign to cut taxes, increase infrastructure spending, and decrease regulations. All of these are indicators for growth in the U.S. economy. The first military death under Trump's administration occurred over the weekend when U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6 member was killed and 3 others were wounded in a raid against al-Qaeda leaders in Yemen. Chief Special Warfare Operator William Ryan Owens died of wounds from the raid. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis made a statement, quote, "Ryan gave his full measure for our nation, and performing his duty, he upheld the noblest standard of military service," end quote. Several civilians were also killed in the attack. The raid on al-Qaeda headquarters was the first counterterrorism offensive operation under Trump and was aimed at gathering intelligence about the militant group.
Auburn Guides is your guide to Auburn University. You can access schedules, create your own to-do lists, interact with friends, and always get the most up-to-date information. The Auburn Guides app gives access to information on the go so you never miss out. Auburn Guides is available for free on the Play Store and Apple App Store.
This is a place where it only takes a second to imagine your future. Grasp a new concept in class. Inspire a child's curiosity. Discover a real-world solution. Seize an unexpected opportunity.
There goes Davis!
This is where you gain the preparation, confidence, and determination to succeed. This is Auburn.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Wondering what it's like to be an Auburn Global student? Meet one of our current students to learn more about her Auburn experience. Today we have Yassine Gul with us to let us know about her experience at Auburn. How are you, Yassine?
Good.
Good. Well, that's great. To start off, could you tell us a bit about where you are from and what made you choose Auburn?
I'm from Shandong Province, China, and I chose Auburn University because I knew the information from the internet. The Auburn is a good place to study, and I have many friends that studied in Auburn before I came here.
Well, I don't think there's anybody that will disagree with you that Auburn is one of the best campuses. And so what are you involved in here at Auburn University?
I involved in the Impact, the volunteer program, and I did the food prepare before the Thanksgiving dinner with my friends. It's very interesting.
Well, I know AU Impact is a great program. I myself have actually worked with them before. They're a great bunch of people, fantastic to work with. And Yassine, what would you say is the biggest difference between university in China and universities in the U.S.?
I think the biggest difference is additional system. Auburn University and the GPA decide on many parts like assignments, group activities, and so on. But in China, the grades only decide on the exams.
Well, I know I have a hard enough time trying to keep my GPA up, so I can't imagine what it's like trying to do it just based on the exam. So lastly, what would you suggest to any students who are considering coming to Auburn from around the world?
Yes.
So you would definitely recommend it?
Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Yassine, and we hope Auburn treats you well. Up next, we will head back to the desk with a discussion of hot headlines. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis. 45. There goes Davis.
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
Welcome back to Auburn Global. Let's start out discussion with the Red Box rental, paying it forward.
Yeah, Kaylee, this picture has a note that says, "Hello, my name is Marcos. Every month I take $100 that I've normally spend on myself and give it away to a stranger. This month I decided to change it up and put it in a Redbox DVD. And sure enough, there is $100 inside the case. I mean, what an act of giving."
What would you do with $100 if you found it in a Redbox?
Well, I mean, I would definitely, I would probably go off campus, buy some gas, and then buy some extra food. But that's definitely something that I would love to see happen when I go to Redbox.
Definitely. I would go buy a bunch of pizza, I think, and watch the movie then, right afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Next, we have a picture of a dog that has a much deeper meaning. Apparently, this is one of many office dogs that helps relieve stress during the workday. What an awesome way to make it through those long days.
I've never owned a dog before, but I love seeing the assistant dogs walking around campus. They're so cute.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And this one especially, I mean, what would you say that is?
I don't know. I guess it's like a lab, but it's a little bit blonder than normal. I don't know. I have a dog. I have a cute little corgi, and I miss her so much up here. So I'm petitioning the professors to have class dogs now. That's what we need to do.
I would love to have that too. So let's see. Up next, penny project, it looks like. And finally, to close our show, we have the picture of the least valuable coin showing its worth in art. This is only one of many penny projects online, and it seems to be developing into a huge hit.
That's nice.
I think it looks very good.
It's a little less than the money from the Redbox, but I still think it's a good piece.
I mean, I wouldn't pay more than the pennies are worth for it. But
yeah, no.
Maybe that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
It actually reminds me of a friend of mine.
Oh, nice.
So, well, that's all we have for Auburn Global this week.
Keep up to date with all the global news by following us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle Eye TV.
And don't forget to send us pictures to discuss via our social media. I'm Matt Stanley.
And I'm Kaylee Bishop. Thanks for watching, and War Eagle.